I'm going to jump back to Acquia Dev Desktop. Now, we've created our site locally on our computer, and if we want to host it live so that other people can see it, or we can work with others on the project, we can host it on Acquia Cloud free. The free service has some limitations, like you can't publish it publicly on a custom domain name, but you can still go a long way to creating your development site, and then you can choose what to do about your production hosting later. In order to host on Acquia Cloud, what we need to do is create a cloud account. We can start by clicking Host this site on Acquia Cloud, and you can see here that it will ask for an email and password and give you a link to set up an account. So let's click on that. I'm going to fill out this form and fast forward. The only input that you might have questions about is this site name here, which will simply give you an identifier on your cloud account because you can create multiple sites. And it will also be part of the subdomain when you look at the development or staging site. And when you're done filling out the form, click Create Site. It will take a minute to spin up the site. And what happens in this initial step here, you see it says creating site. This will take 3 to 5 minutes. It's not actually installing Drupal at this point, but it's getting everything else set up for your account. In the next steps, we can choose to install a specific version of Drupal, or like we're going to do in this video, we're going to push our site from our local environment up to the cloud. I'm going to click Manage My Code, and this will take us to the workflow page. Now there's an overlay here that gives you some important first options, and if you're not sure exactly what to click on here, don't worry about it. You can get to all of these things through the interface once you close the overlay. So I'm going to close the overlay here. And so if you want to see the overlay again, you just click on Getting Started right here. I'm going to exit out one more time. And now let's go back to Dev Desktop. And what we'll do is put in our email address and our password and click Login. This gives us a message that says the local site has not finished installation. You remember how after we spun up our site, we went to the form to install Drupal, but we never actually completed the process? That means that the database hasn't been generated yet, and there's no way to actually fully sync Drupal to the cloud. So let's finish the installation process now, and then we'll finish the sync process. I'm going to click Yes. And I'm going to fast forward through this process for now. If you're curious what the various inputs on these steps means, there are other videos on Build a Module that will walk you through this process. After completing the installation process, I'm going to create one piece of custom content so we know that when we push this site to the cloud, we're actually pushing the entire database. It might be a little hard to convince our minds that we've completely done that if we don't see any custom configuration being pushed as well. So I'll click Add Content, I'll click Article, I'll put some dummy content in for the title and the body, and I'll scroll down and click Save. And now let's jump back to Acquia Dev Desktop, and we'll click the Host this site on Acquia Cloud again. Here we can choose which subscription we want to host with. On Acquia Cloud, we can host multiple sites, and as we generated additional sites, they would show up as options here. So we're going to select the one that's available to us. We'll leave this as Dev, but if we clicked, you can see that we can push to Dev or Staging, and then we'll click OK.